Good morning and hi everyone. My name is Carly Bell and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And once a month I get together with all of my friends here on YouTube and Facebook and we do a project from start to finish that we call Sip and Stitch. So welcome to our November 2025 Sip and Stitch. I'm so excited that y'all are here and thanks for all of our friends that are attending live because I kind of changed things up on y'all this month. It's Thursday. It's not Friday. Like we usually have our Sip and Stitch once a month is usually on a Friday, but we had to change things up due to some things going on here in the family. So I'm so thankful that for y'all that are here. So I'm just check the chat real quick and say good morning. I see Becky and Debbie and Tina and Quilt Winch and Joanna, Linda. Thank y'all so much for being here with me. And then we might have some new friends with us here today because I picked one of my favorite designers, who is Reen at Embroidery Garden, to do one of her projects for our Sip and Stitch this month. So we might have some of Reen's followers on here today. So if you're new, welcome. So glad you're here. Hi, Roberta. Thank you so much. So my daughter, one of the reasons why we rescheduled this to a Thursday this month is my daughter's having surgery tomorrow. So thank you for all the well wishes and prayers that y'all have been sending her way. So tomorrow's the big day. Fingers crossed everything goes well and that she recovers well. So she'll be having lots of ice cream, smoothies in the foreseeable future. Her Thanksgiving dinner may potatoes, and that might be it. So, all right, I'm so excited for today's show. My friend Carol is who showed me these designs. Me and her were talking one day and like coming up with ideas of what we should do for Sip and Stitch. And she's like, "Have you seen Reen's adorable um, tea light covers?" And I was like, "No." And so I go and I look, and these things are so stinking cute. She has like a whole variety of them, but they are I'm doing the Christmas themed one. So these are the few that I've stitched out already. And because my room is so extremely bright, you will not see that there are tea lights inside of them that are lit up and going through, and you can kind of see the light through the felt. So this is what we are going to be making today. And super cute, very, very quick projects. These are. And when I first was like, okay, we can do these for Sip and Stitch. And before I even bought the designs, well, and test stitch them out, I'm like, because they were like maybe 8 or 10 of them. I was like, well, we can maybe stitch a whole bunch of them in one hoop and get them like all done. And if you have a big hoop, we can combine and color sort and all the things. And then when I actually got to stitching them, I see it makes a lot more sense just to do them one at a time. But I'm gonna go over a few things with you today, so that maybe I can show you some new techniques. But to be honest, the simplest way to make these is one at a time in a 4x4 hoop. They all fit in a 4x4 hoop. So you could make these on any embroidery machine, no matter what kind you have, because to my knowledge, even the smallest embroidery machines, the hoop size is 4x4. All right, yeah, I know they are so cute. So we're going to be making some of these today, and I had a couple things I wanted to tell you before we start. My big thing is that if you've been following me for a little while, you may know that I have a monthly membership group. We call it the Sip and Stitch Squad VIP membership group, and it's a really fun membership where once a month we have private Zoom lessons just for VIP members, and we make a project from start to finish, but on Zoom. So it's a lot more interactive. You can ask me questions. We talk about embrilliance. We talk about all things crafty, and that's once a month. And then I also give all my VIP members one embroidery design per month, and then usually that's the design we're making in the Zoom class that we have. And everything's recorded. So if you can't attend the Zoom live, you have access to the replays, which includes over 4.5 years of classes and embroidery design downloads. So that is what the membership is all about. It's about We do, more advanced projects, and then we still have some beginner projects. We mess with digitizing using Stitch Artists, and we could talk about normal embroidery essentials in class whenever people have questions. Normally, this membership is only $9 a month. That's what I've been charging the past 4.5 years. But now, because of all of that library of classes that members get, I am increasing the price. So after this Friday, November 21st, the price of the membership subscription will go up to $19 a month. So if you've been interested or thinking about it, I highly suggest you sign up by tomorrow, Friday the 21st, so that you can keep that low price of $9 a month. Everyone who signed up now and been with me from the beginning, or signed up last week, doesn't matter. If when you signed up it was $9, you're keeping $9 until you whatever. As long as you're a member, you keep that price. But everything after Friday, so starting Saturday the 22nd, from then on, it'll be $19 a month. So I just wanted to tell y'all all of that in case you've been on the fence about joining. Come get it now while the price is low. And you can cancel anytime. It's just a monthly thing. And I think there's an option to sign up for a year. Like if you want to do it, and I have, friends that have been in it forever, you can do your subscription for a year and then you get a discount when you do that. All right. Yay, visionary. She's like, I am glad I am grandfathered in. Yes, you are. And then for all of my members that have been with me for a while too, I know things come up like your credit card expiration date changes or something's wrong with PayPal. If for any reason those kinds of things happen and your membership cancels because of that, don't worry. I will fix it and make it sure that you keep your $9 price when we get that, sorted through. So don't worry about any of that kind of stuff. All right. Yay. Oh, awesome. So Dawn said there's so many designs and videos to watch. That's how she's going to spend her vacation. Yay. I'm so glad. Thank you, Elsa. Enjoy that. Yes, she will. She is an ice cream girl. She eats ice cream on a regular basis. So she is very excited about that. Um, all right. So that was one thing. And then, to sign up. Very good question. I should probably say that. You can see it on my website, carlybell.com. If you scroll and look where it says anything with Sip and Stitch Squad membership, you can click on that. I also believe I have a link right below this video, not like the first link. It's scroll down. You'll see something about the membership group, and there's a link to sign up there. Okay. Yay. Okay, Shay found it. It's in the description box, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. The other thing I wanted to show off before we start today's project is I have a holiday workshop every year, and we had it last week, and it was so much fun, and I can't wait. I want to put a post together with pictures from everyone that attended and show their version of the projects. They are amazing. So many talented women. I'm so glad that y'all attended and did it with me. But I just want to show you the things we made because they're so cute. So this is a joy banner, and I'm working on, for all my people that attended, the designs came with the classes, and I'm working on digitizing the entire alphabet so that now that they know how to make this, they can go and make it say whatever they want. So everybody's got joy right now, but I'm still working on digitizing the whole alphabet for everyone. So that was one of the projects we made. Then I redecorated my pegboard and everything, and I put all my things I've kind of made over the years, and then all of our holiday workshop stuff. This one's one of my favorites. This one too. Okay, they're all so cute. We made it in the hoop hot cocoa coaster, and this one I love. So I had pictures of this before the workshop started in like candy colors. Here it is, like lighter colors. This is the one I made before the workshop to like show everyone, and this is the one we made during the workshop, and I love these colors. The more traditional colors is so pretty. Then we made it in the hoop ornament, and we played with it. Like during the class, we talked about how technically we could personalize the back of the ornament and break this into two hoopings and like first stitch what's going to be on the back and then load the design and have that ready to go. So that's what we did. So the front looks like it did in the example I showed people before the workshop, but the back we added my little cousin's name and the year just to make something special. So these are fun as ornaments or like bag tags. And I love this one. This is a gingerbread house zippered bag. So for the workshop, I found this like pearly white vinyl for the snow. And then I don't know if you can see, but I use variegated thread for the like details in the roof and a pretty pink metallic thread for this little scallop icing part under the roof. So it was fun. I really like the way this one came out. And I found a rainbow zipper and rainbow hardware. So super cute. So I wanted to show y'all all of that. And then I'm going to put a post together with pictures of all the things the students made because they're so cute. So cute. But yeah, I tried to play with all the different, I love messing with like different materials for things. So, okay, sorry. That was my spiel I wanted to have before we start. But I think that was everything. So I'm ready now. So if you have any questions about today, I'm going to tell you that you can find almost all the information on today's project on my website, which is carlybell.com. And there's a Sip and Stitch homepage on there. So if you see Sip and Stitch, click on it. If not, just go to carlybell.com/sip-in-stitch. And that's going to give you the links for everything we do today. And good news is Reen was kind enough to give us a coupon code, which I should do that. Let me make that banner at the bottom. So Embroidery Garden coupon, and it's KBSS. Scroll across the bottom. Okay, there it is. So when you go to Reen's website, which there's a link down below for it, directly to the little projects that we're making today, which is the holiday character tea light covers. If you use coupon code KBSS, it will knock $9 off the price of this design set, which is like a little bit more than 50% off. So super thankful to her for offering all of us that great discount. So if you want to go grab those designs, use that coupon code. I will leave that at the bottom so everybody can see. And that's it. So to make this project, it's so simple. And literally the only thing you need is craft felt and thread and your scissors. That's it. So and maybe some tape, but supply list very low. You do not need stabilizer for this project, which like when I saw them at first, I'm like, oh yay. And that's when I was thinking I could do multiples and all that stuff. But then when I really got into the project and read the directions fully, there's no stabilizer needed. So that's why it's probably easiest to just do one at a time in your 4x4 hoop. The set comes with, I got them all on my machine, but let me tell you real quick. A cute little gingerbread house, which I've stitched out, and then a gingerbread man and a gingerbread girl, which we can stitch those today. Snowman, penguin, Santa, and a reindeer, and then like 3 different Christmas trees and an angel. The angel's precious. I think that was all of them. I'm scrolling through them now. Yes, so that's all of them. So I was thinking this is so that we can learn something for each part. The first one we'll stitch is the angel. And that one's very straightforward. We're going to use our 4x4 hoop. And I'm going to use this pretty light blue felt. When you're shopping for felt, if you get to go and do it in person, I went to Walmart and got probably way more than I need. Lots. This craft felt is very thin. I've purchased some before at Hobby Lobby. I think Hobby Lobby had like different options. Some were thicker. For this project, you want the thin felt because think about it. The light needs to shine through. So thin and light colored. So those are some tips for you when you are purchasing felt. Um, and then when I've looked on Amazon, I've seen some listed as 1 millimeter or some as like 1.4 millimeter. So I'm going to I would say opt for the thinner one when purchasing on Amazon if you can see like the thickness of the felt. Um, oh, and I'm not thinking clearly. Supplies, was felt and thread, but you do also need the little lights. That's helpful. I got these at Dollar Tree. So it was $1.25 for 3 of them. And then I was playing with them this morning. I was like, watch them don't have batteries in them. And then I'm not going to have batteries. But they all came with batteries. So that's a really good price for little tea light things. They're also at Walmart, Target, and Amazon, of course. So the little tea light holders. One of the reasons why I was thinking it's just probably easiest to do this in the 4x4 hoop is usually with felt, we get it in a letter size sheet. So this will fit in a 5x7 hoop, and we'll go over that today. So the first one we'll stitch is the angel normal way. The second one we'll stitch is either Santa, the two kind of specialty ones in the pack is Santa and a penguin, because they are combining either like red and white for Santa or black and white for the penguin. And there's a special step where we cut out a section on the back so that the light can really shine through the white section of those characters. So we'll do one of those so you can see that process. Whether we do Santa, the process will be the same for the penguin. And then I was thinking the third way we can do is we can combine two and hoop it in a 5x7 hoop. So I was thinking maybe we'll do the gingerbread man and the gingerbread girl in one hooping, because my letter size felt does fit my 5x7 hoop nicely. I played with 6x10 and I played with 9.5x14 because I'm gonna be stitching on my Stellaire today. And I really couldn't configure things to work to fill a hoop, even if I had a piece of felt that big, because I felt like there would still be a lot of waste. So really your best bet is 4x4, and then a couple of them you can combine, make two in a 5x7 hoop. All right, so that's the plan today. So we're going to do 3 different hoopings, but they stitch so quickly, it shouldn't be a forever long class. All right, any questions before we get started? Let's see. I'm checking. Ooh, Cindy says, yes, there's also a nativity tea light set. Nice. And I think there's like a Santa and the 12 reindeers, if I'm not mistaken. Another fun thing I was thinking we can do when we're in Embrilliance, I'm going to combine the 2 gingerbread and I'm going to show you how to do it in Embrilliance Essentials and color sort. We can also talk about maybe personalizing them if you would want to like make a little gingerbread family and add the grandkids' names on it or something like that. We can play with that too. Okay, yes, Joanna has a very good warning for us, and I'm a person that needs the warning. Make sure you turn these off when you're not using them, because yes, the batteries will get used up quickly, and I'm sure the batteries probably cost more than what the actual tea lights cost. That's why I was like, watch when I get these, there's not going to be any batteries in them. Okay. Yay. So see, Kathy, like this is super simple, and most of us probably have all of these things in our house where we don't need to go buy anything. And I'm sure I have these little tea light things somewhere in my house because Elise loves these, but I have no clue where they are. So I did go buy more just to be safe. Debbie, so the membership is in the description box down below. And if you go to carlybell.com, let me show you really quickly. I think I fixed my computer and everything for this show. I think the last show I did, my computer was a mess. It was never showing what it was supposed to. But this is carlybell.com. That's my website. This is where you can get all the info on my sip and stitch projects. It's always going to show you the newest like the latest one. So this is the Sip and Stitch homepage. It tells you the schedule for the year. So probably in December, I'll update it for 2026. But this is today's class, and it's got a list of all of the supplies, including the designs and that coupon code for you. And then if you go back to the home page, you could just click this or click home. My store, I think, has the membership. Yes. So Sip and Stitch Squad membership, that's there. And then these are my courses that I sell. And I think even on the homepage, if you scroll down here, that's a button that will bring you to the membership as well. So it just tells you um, you get private Zoom classes, private Facebook community, free embroidery design every month. I have some specialty training videos on the Brother Persona Baby Lock Alliance, and I have plans to add training videos to other machines like my Stellaire and my Brother Six Needle in the future. We have some specialty trainings on how to and digitize with Stitch Artists. We discuss essentials in most of our classes in only $9 a month. So that's where you can get that info. Okay, let me fix this. All right. I lost all the questions. Okay, hi, current. Everything went away. I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go. Okay. Um, Linda says, the more I see you use the Stellaire, the better for me. Yay. I love my Stellaire. It is probably the machine that I use the most in my craft room. Yay. Thanks so much, Debbie. She said she purchased 2 of my classes for Embrilliance. She listens. Thank you. I'm so glad. Okay. All right. So let's get started if we want to try and do all of these hoopings that I'm planning on here. All right. So here's my little guys. Look how cute they are. All right, so let's do the angel first. So with these 2, when I did them, I pretty much used one entire piece of felt because we are not using stabilizer. We are literally only hooping the felt. So what I have done is try to just get it right in the corner and hoop it. Okay, and then when I'm done, I will trim this close to the hoop. And I'm hoping with these other ones that I did, like this piece right here was big enough because there's a step where we're going to cover the back of it. So hopefully this will be big enough. I think it will. Because with the angel, she's got wide wings. So we just got to make sure we get all the wing space on the back. So this is it. Hoop your felt and upload your design to your machine. And we're going to go over the steps. All right, so here is my Stellaire. And I'm gonna open the angel design and hit set. So I don't know how much of this y'all can see. Probably none of it. Okay. So you see her little, this is the design. So this one actually takes a little bit longer to stitch because she has a filled in face, but the other ones I was stitching was like 3 minutes to stitch out. This one's 6. So we have her face, her eyes, her mouth, her halo, and some details. Oops. I don't know what I did. Go back. There's some details on her dress. And then this blue that's here, that's going to be the piece that attaches to our back and the wings as well. So we are going to start stitching all these inner details. And then when we get to this Usually for all the other designs, it's the last step where you add a piece of felt on the back of your hoop before you stitch it out. But for this one in particular, it's the second to last step where we need to add our felt. Okay, so I'm gonna load this, hit set, and embroider. And then whatever color you want to stitch her face, grab that, and then I'm gonna grab, oh, you know what would be pretty? A gold metallic thread for her halo. Let me grab my gold. And I'll do, yeah, sorry. I didn't think about thread colors. Earlier, I had a few of them over here, but not the ones for the angel. All right, so I got yellow for her face. And no, you know, the halo won't look good on top of this. Let me just get like a peachy color or a tan color. Because I want the halo to stand out. So I'll do this for her face and then that will go on top. Yes. So load this thread. Thread my needle. And lower my presser foot and start. So that's going to stitch her face. And then next is the halo. What's wrong? Oh, I did want to change my bobbin before I started. And I forgot. My bobbin was almost out. Okay, so I cut my thread and let me put a new bobbin in. On these flatbed machines, it's usually counterclockwise. And then I like to pull my bobbin thread out a good like 12 inches to really make sure the bobbin tension is set. If you ever see your bobbin thread coming up on the top of your hoop, the most likely culprit is that you put your bobbin in the wrong direction. When you're pulling it, it should be turning counterclockwise. If when you pull it, it goes clockwise, that's why. So just reinstall your bobbin, make sure it's going counterclockwise, pull it through the thread path about 6 to 12 where you cut it. All right, now because I started stitching, I'm going to back up to the beginning of this step again. Okay, now let's do it. And I'm going to get my metallic thread, the gold for her halo, to be ready for after this. So this is going to take a couple minutes to stitch out her little face. And I think, let me pick my thread colors now for the outline. I'll probably do like a fun blue. That would be fun for like the outline of her little dress. And then I can do white for her wings. And then I got black already here for her eyes. And let me get a pink color for her little mouth where she looks like she's singing. Okay. So I'm just lining up all my red colors here in front of my machine. So I know after I need black, then pink, then her dress and details, and then white. And we're gonna need, I'm gonna take it off the hoop, off the machine and everything, but we'll see if this piece is big enough. If it's not, I'll have to use another piece of felt to cover up the back. All right. Yes, Elsa, there is a PDF file for making these, and I can show you real quick on my computer. Try to make this bigger. There we go. All right, so when you download the design, this is what it looks like. Like you get all of the angels in all the different formats. Then it's Christmas tree, gingerbread man, gingerbread girl, gingerbread house. Right here is that PDF instructions. And so this is what it looks like. And this is, I know this was written for me because I am terrible with skimming over instructions. Read the whole thing before. So 2 pieces of felt, 1 piece large enough to be hooped, and the other about 4.5 by 4.5 inches. The penguin and the Santa, you'll need a piece of white felt, 4 by 4 inches. Note, the darker the color of the felt you use, the less light that will shine through. You can test your felt by wrapping it around the tea light, holding the edges, turn the light on. And then she's got a little tip. We should have made the Christmas tree first. She's got a little tip with like the Christmas tree where we can punch holes in the front part of the Christmas tree to let the light shine through if we're using a dark green felt. And so then it will look like lights shining through on the tree. So that was something I wanted to show you too. All right, so that's her face. Now I'm switching to my gold metallic thread. And metallic thread can be finicky. So one suggestion, make sure you have it in a thread stand, and so that the thread can become kind of like uncoiled as it enters the thread path. And the other thing is you can slow your machine down. So I can go to settings, max embroidery speed. Right now it's 1050. I'm gonna slow it down to like 500. Okay. And now hit go. So just that it can go a little bit slower, and I don't change my needle or do anything special for it. Usually just making sure it's in a good thread path situation and slowing the machine down helps a lot. So that's stitching. And we can go back to the instructions. And this is where she talks about punching holes in the tree right here. And she has one of these little handheld hole punches. I was going to use my cam snap press. But here in the directions, this goes through all the steps. So for instance, the angel, the face, the halo, the eyes, the mouth, the details on the dress. Then stop, place another piece of felt on the back side of the hoop, then stitch step 6, which is the rest of the dress, and the wings. And then it goes through the Christmas tree. This one's like super easy. Use green felt. First you stitch the ornaments, then the star and garland, then take the hoop off, add the felt on the back, and then do the outline of the tree. So you see how they can go pretty quickly because they only have a couple steps. All right, that was quick. Okay. Oh, the gold looks really cute. All right, I'm gonna go back to settings and now speed my machine back up. And now I need black. Okay. And this is for her eyes. And then next is her mouth. But yeah, you can see in the instructions, like she goes through each design and what the machine steps are. for that design and tells you when to stop and put the other piece of felt on the back. She also goes through in the instructions how the Santa and the penguin are a little bit different, and we'll go over that in class today. All right, so the eyes are done. Now the mouth. And then the dress. So, oh, something I wanted to tell you too. So, like most felt comes in like letter size. I did find some long pieces at Walmart that are 12 by 18 inches. So those, I never tried it, but those might fit in a 10 hoop if you were trying to merge and do a few of them together, if you could get it to fit right and not waste so much felt. But I'm almost sure at Hobby Lobby they have bolts of felt, and so then you could buy like yardage, and then you can get some bigger pieces if you have a giant hoop. All right, so we stitched the mouth, and now is the detail on the dress. So this, after this step, is when we are going to add a new piece of felt on the back. And for that, she suggests a 4.5 by 4.5 inch square, because you really don't have any placement lines telling you right where to put it, because the wings have not been stitched yet. So to be safe and make sure I cover the whole area, I am going to cut the 4.5 piece like she suggests from a different piece of felt. And I don't think this color is exactly the same, but it's fine. This one's a little more minty. That's close enough. It's like slightly off, but you can make the back a totally different color. It doesn't matter. All right, so that was machine step 5. Now it's ready for 6. Before we stitch it, we're going to take this off the machine, and we are going to tape some felt on the back. So this might be big enough to cover the wings, but I'm not going to risk it. Let me get this little tail. All right, so we're going to turn our hoop over. When you're turning your hoop over and you're putting your other piece of felt on the back, you're just the 4.5 piece should be more than big enough to cover your whole project, right? And then you're going to use tape to secure it to the back. When you're pressing your tape, be sure you're not putting too much pressure. I just lightly put it, and I'm going to fix it after I turn it right side up. If you put too much pressure, you'll pop the hoop out undone. Now, Reen has these wonderful products called hoop pressing pads that she makes for all different kind of machines and all different kind of hoops. And they have one, the only one I don't have, unfortunately, is the one that fits inside the 4x4 hoop. But like for the 5x7 hoop, it fits in it perfectly, so that when I have material here, I can really push, or I could even iron from this side for certain projects, and it won't pop my hoop out. It gives me that stability I need when you turn the hoop over to the wrong side. But if you don't have that, then be super careful and just place the tape on there. Then turn it over, and then I really rub and make sure my felt and the tape is good and in place. Once you have your felt on the back, now you can go back to your machine and stitch step 6, which you could do in the same color thread you did for the dress detail, which I did in this bluish color. And then we'll stitch the wings after. All right, so when you're putting your hoop back on, make sure to pay attention to that felt you have underneath and that it stays where it's supposed to and doesn't come shift and come undone. Once you get it on there, stitch that step 6, which will be super quick. Now you're attaching your back felt to your front, and it also creates the secure hold space for the tea light to fit in. And then I'm gonna get the white thread ready for her wings. Okay. And now the last step is the white. And like I said, I believe all the other characters, the last step is the one where you put the felt before. This is the only exception, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yay, Denise said she bought the hoop press pads from her local quilt shop and she loves using them. I love them too. They're great. And yes, she tells me that they do have felt by the bolt over there. Okay, so we are all done stitching. We have our angel, and we could see on the back that the back side is secure. Now, with other in the hoop projects, I usually go the extra I don't know, extra mile, or I am extra. And I will make the bobbin thread match the front thread. I also have a little tip for when we do in the hoop projects where I pull the bobbin thread up on these last steps. And so it doesn't form a little nest on the back. But I didn't do that for this because honestly, you can't tell. And everything's going to be facing forward. I didn't find it was that needed. So if you're used to seeing me do that all the time and wondering why I didn't do it, I really didn't think it needed it. Okay, so you could take that tape off and you can trim these little tails a little bit if you want, but nothing's really needed. All right, and then you're going to pop this out of the hoop. And now you are going to use your scissors and cut right along the outer shape of your angel. Okay, there's no real specifics to it. You don't have to cut right next to your thread line. You do want to cut kind of, I think, straight across the bottom to help with it sitting on the tea light. But however far you want to cut away from your thread line is up to you. And the thing with the felt is that it's nice and soft, but it also works great to have raw edges with. So I'm sure there are other materials that if you really wanted to make these with, you could, but I think felt works really nicely. And it gives you enough stability that it can be stitched while hooped with no stabilizer, where I do not think that would work with some regular fabric with no like interfacing. All right, so that is our angel. And then let's see, take this last one out. And they have these little things to protect the battery. And it just goes right on top and it fits it perfectly. So you can see the light there, yeah. You see it shining through. So this color was nice because it was light and it was very thin. So you can see it. And there's the back. So now I have 3 characters. All right. Any questions about that? Next, we'll work on, let's do the Santa. And I can show you the process to help the light shine through better. So, is there red in here? Nope, no red in here. I got red in this big one. I thought I bought a sheet of red, but apparently I didn't. Cindy X, how long should our tails be? Is there a setting number that my machine should be on? To be honest, I don't know if you can change the length at which the machine cuts each of its tails. I want to say that is pretty standard. Normally, I don't mess with tails too much unless it's like an in the hoop project and it's something that's going to be seen on the back. I still try to leave maybe like 1/4 of an inch of a tail, or some other options. You can cut it and use some fabric glue or fray check spot where you cut it close to it so that it won't come undone. Or you can use something like a thread burning tool and it will singe the thread and cause it to singe, and therefore a little bit thicker than the thread and not go through the hole. Usually, like, I'll grab it with my tweezers, which I'm not doing a good job of right now. And then this thing, the way this thing works is it only gets hot when you press the button. And I used this for the holiday workshop, and then I had to charge it. So now it's charged, and it just singed off that little tail right there. And that should also help with it not coming undone. So that's something you can use too. You could just leave them alone, to be honest. Okay. Okay, yeah. Stacy has that thread burner too. It works nice. Okay, I am now hooping red felt. All right, so we're gonna do Santa. The way Santa works and the way the penguin works is first you're gonna hoop the red for Santa or black for the penguin. Okay, now light is really not gonna shine through this all too well because it's so dark, and then definitely for the penguin, it's not gonna shine through the black, you know? So that's when we're gonna have the step of adding white felt, but we have to get rid of where the red was originally. That's what I wanna show you. So hoop just the red, trimming it close so that I'm having less waste. Okay, and then go to the machine and look at the design. I want to pull it up on. Okay, so we have for the instructions, wait, come back. It says we have to put the white felt down on top. All right, so the instructions say use red felt. After hooping the red felt, place the white felt on top. And then step number 1, with white thread, stitch Santa's beard and trim outline. So we're putting a piece of white felt right on top of this from the get-go. And a piece of white felt is 4 by 4 inches, I think it said. So let me cut that real quick. All right, so bam, right in the middle. the piece of white felt. Now we'll go stitch step number 1 on the machine. All right, and I already have white thread, so that's nice. Loaded. Now I need to load the Santa design. Santa. Embroider. Okay. Step number 1 is white, and it's Santa's beard. So that stitch. Now, the next step is a little tricky because we're going to be cutting the red felt from behind, something I just thought about. If you wanted to make life a little bit easier, what you could do is just hoop your red felt and stitch this step. After this step is stitched and you see right where Santa's beard needs to go, you could take your scissors and cut a hole through your red to get a hole started for yourself. So sorry I didn't think about that until after I already stitched it, but just hoop the red felt. Don't put your white yet. Stitch step number 1 and then use your scissors to cut yourself a hole through the red. Now you see the placement of where to put the Santa. Go back, re-stitch, lay your white felt down, and then re-stitch step number 1. So that's something that might make life a little bit easier for you. But it's not that hard to do what we're about to do next, and that is to cut the red felt out the middle here without cutting our white felt. It can be a little tricky, but we can do it. All right, so this is the front of your hoop. Red felt, white felt. This is the back of our hoop. This is where we want to trim. So carefully use your scissors and poke through your red felt and cut away until you see the white. And you see now what I mean by if I would have just did the red first and cut a hole and then re-stitch step number 1, I would have this already on the back for me, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. But it's really not that hard. Once you get your hole, now use your applique scissors to trim the inside of Santa's beard. Again, we're on the back side of the hoop, and what we're doing is we are exposing so now the light can shine through that white piece nicely. And make sure you don't snip your thread line, your stitches, while you're trimming. I think Green says trim like about 1/8 of an inch away from that stitch line. Okay, so that is now trimmed. So this is the same thing for the penguin. So with the penguin, you would hoop the black felt. And then if I were you, I would stitch step number 1. Let me look at the penguin instructions. Is the inner white part of the penguin. I would stitch that on the black felt. And after that's done, poke yourself a hole with your scissors to get a hole started. Then place your white felt on top and then repeat step number 1 to tack it down. And now when you're ready to trim, you got a little hole started for you. All right. What's next? Let's go back to Santa. Do we trim the beard? Trim around the white felt from the stitching Okay, so we are gonna trim around the front too. Yes. So just like an applique on the front. Okay, so that's our front, and then our back kind of looks the same. That's pretty cool. Okie dokie. Now we will go stitch um, the face, the mouth, the mustache, the eyes, and then before the last step, we'll add a piece of red felt on the back side. So let's go stitch all those details of Santa now. So add scissors. We have disappeared as always. Okay, here we go. So his face, whatever color you want. And then his mouth, I'll do in the same pink like I did the angel. And then we'll need white, black, and then red. It's our other thread colors we'll need. While that is stitching, let me check the comment. Oh, what I did. Okay. Joanna said, with the thread burner, could it melt the felt? I'm sure if you were touching the felt with it, it could burn it, but I would use the tweezers and make sure you're just touching your thread tail that you want. Okay, I think that was it. All right. Now, this little tiny mouth. Okay, that was super quick. And next is white for his mustache and some details. Is there a link for the thread tool on the website? No, I did not think about that when I made the supply list. But what I'll do is I will go and add it to there. So maybe as soon as the show is over, I'll go update the Sip and Stitch homepage and add that link for you. right. Okay, the last step before we add felt is the black or whatever color you want to use for his eyes. And then I'll get my red thread ready for the last step. Oh wait, no, there's a belt too. I'm gonna go look. I want to say I have that. I have it written down somewhere on my computer, the link. Go dig real quick. Let's see if I have it. I can just put it in the chat for you too. No. Nope, I don't have it in there. I know I put it somewhere before, but I can't remember where. Let's see. Lisa's talking about she doesn't see all the comments on Facebook. Maybe you have to expand it. And then it's not showing closed caption. I think it doesn't show closed caption until the live is over and it's been processed. I think it will show it after that for you. Okay, so that is our Santa with all the little face details and the belt. Now we're ready to add our red piece of felt on the back. So this is my piece. So this was one of those long 12 by 18 pieces that I had read. So really this will be more than big enough. So I will cut that for the back. And then I don't know how sticky my tape still is. I keep reusing the same tape. This will now be the 4th or 5th time, which is probably way too many. But because it's touching the hoop, it's keeping it a lot better. Normally when it's just touching the felt, it doesn't really stay stuck. So do that. And now we'll go stitch the last step, and I'm going to use red thread. So again, make sure when you're putting your hoop back on your machine, this felt on the bottom is staying where it's supposed to. And if you wanted to, you most certainly can change your bobbin to match your top thread. I'm not going to worry about it, but I will show you my little trick now for preventing nests for these first couple stitches on the back. Sometimes it's like it's not bad at all, and then sometimes like it's a big wad of thread right where it starts stitching. So what I'm doing is I grab my top thread, I made sure it went in my and under through my presser foot hole, and I'm holding it. On my machine I have a needle up down button. You can also turn your hand wheel if you want. But while I'm holding the top thread, I'm going to put my needle down and back up. And now I'll pull my top thread and my bobbin thread comes up. And I'm going to hold that off to the side, start stitching. And once my needle moves out the way, I will trim them. And that will prevent the little nest from happening on the back of your in the hoop projects. Okay. Let's see, M&L in Anaheim, California. I'm going there next year. We're going to California and we're going to go to Anaheim to go to Disneyland. And I think it was, that's no, Norma, you are Visionary Carnations. I keep forgetting that that's your YouTube name. I'm looking for Norma. But yeah, you told me about that place. I'm going there. I'm excited. She says they got every color felt. As far as good quality felt, it's funny because for this particular project, I would say you don't want the best quality felt because you want it to be thin so that the light can shine through. On my other embroidery projects, I like the thicker, like real wool felt, like it's nicer. But for these, I'm wondering if that nicer felt would defeat the purpose of the light shining through. All right, we're done with Santa. We can see the back. Now, it's hard to tell, but we started here. There's no nest there, like at all. Whereas maybe this is the kind of nest that I'm talking about. Again, it's not a super big deal, but it does give you a nice cleaner look when you pull your bobbin thread up. And all I have here is just one little tail from where it stopped stitching. And I could leave that there if I want, or I can trim it a little bit or use my thread burner. All right, I think this tape is done. So put that in my little trash pile and pop this guy out of the hoop. Oh, I think the doctor's office called me. I missed it. Okay. Okay, so Santa scissors. You see a nice stitch line where you need to cut out here, and then as far as it goes right here, just cut kind of straight across. Now, I think I saw Linda was talking about all the way at the beginning of today's video about using her scan and cut and stuff. This particular project, you're not going to be able to use your scan and cut because there's no stitch step that is the full outline that you could use to send to your scan and cut to tell it to cut the fabric out. The only thing that would work for is maybe just this white beard, but there's no stitch line here. If you can add a line here on your scan and cut, then you could pre-cut the Santa outline, but like you don't want these lines to actually get cut. Those are just to help make it tight so that the light fits through it. So I don't think this would be a project I would try to do with my scan and cut. All right, but there's Santa. And like I said, the red felt would be hard for the light to shine through. But now that it has white with a beard, can you see the flickering? I don't know, but I could see it. And when I turn what I'll do is when class is over, I'm gonna turn the lights off and light all these guys up and take a picture so y'all could see. But yay. Okay, so we've gone over a super basic one. We've gone over a little bit more complicated one of Santa and this same process for the penguin. Now I wanted to show you if you did want to hoop and stitch out 2 of them in a 5x7 hoop. So I was thinking we'll do the 2 gingerbreads. So that's the instructions. I'm gonna minimize those. And here I had, but I realized after I had a gingerbread boy, 2 boys. So let me delete this one. All right, so you would go to your list of designs and open up one of them. So that's the gingerbread boy. That's right there. And I have a 5x7 hoop opened and in Brilliance. Let me get this. Okay, now y'all should be able to see the bottom of my screen. And I could see right here, it's a 5x7 hoop. now let me go find the gingerbread girl and pick your format of choice. And I'm just going to drag and drop it. So I have merged the two. Okay, so she looks like she has a little dress on and he's got little legs. That's cute. All right, and now it's a process of playing with the placement. One thing I thought we could do is rotate it, and they have a little blue dot right here um, in the corner, and that allows me to rotate. You could also, the select tool, you have some rotation options here where I could rotate 90 degrees and go all the way around like that. So you have a few options for rotating. You want to make sure there's enough space between the two so that you can cut them out and it won't affect the other. We are cutting fairly close to this line, so it doesn't need to be like this is way more than enough space between them. You can put it as close to your hoop sides as possible to give more space in the middle. So like I could nudge her all the way to where she's almost touching here and nudge him up here and give myself plenty of room. So with this, I can hoop one piece of my brown felt and stitch both of them. But now let's look at each of their steps and make sure that they are different colors. So the first step for the boy is the white. Then there is a step where they do his bottom part of his legs on the front because that wants to be seen on the front, but we don't actually want to stitch that on the back because we need to be able for the tea light to fit. And if we stitch that on the back too, the tea light wouldn't fit inside. All right, and then the last step secures the felt. And those are 3 different colors. For the girl is just the white and then the outline. So this is perfect, already good to go as far as color sorting goes. So to color sort, you would go to Utility and Color Sort, and then go to New View. And now I could see both of them are in one design. And when I expand the steps, it'll do all the white at one time. It'll do his one little piece of legs, which I'll still do in brown thread, but I need my machine to think it's a different color so it will stop. And after this is done, I will take the hoop off, add the felt on the back, and stitch this step, which will secure both of them. So this is super easy to do 2 of them in one hooping, and you really don't have that much waste as far as felt goes, because remember, we have to hoop one piece of felt to fill the whole hoop to begin with. So let me save this design on my USB stick. So let's go to File, Save Stitch File. Oh, I wanted to show you some other stuff too. Wait, before that, let's see. It would be super cute if we put a little bow in her hair. We could do that if we wanted to, but this brown line we would put the bow before the last step and it would stitch through it right here. So that would be the only thing. But I did want to talk about, say you wanted to make a little gingerbread family of like the members of your family or your kids or your grandkids, you could add little names to personalize these. And it would be super simple. And with Embrilliance, you could just use the lettering tool. And depending on, so with Essentials, you get like 15 fonts come with it. And then I have collected a very large amount of fonts over the years. These are all in BX format, so they're specific for Embrilliance. Almost all digitizers that I purchase from, when they sell fonts, there's an option to also get the BX format, which is specific, like I said, for Embrilliance, like besides using PES or DST or EXP like you normally would for your machine, you can use fonts for the program. So say I wanted to do, you probably need a small font. Like let me look for one that comes in a 0.5. a half an inch. Here we go. So here's a little one, and it even comes in 0.25 if I wanted to, or 0.3. So say I wanted to make one, make me and Chris. So Chris, and then it's just deciding where you want it on your gingerbread man. Like I could have it going, from top to bottom, or I could have it like right here. I don't know, you got to find a spot where it like doesn't look too weird there, or going down on one side. I think I like, see if I could do it a little bit at an angle right here somewhere, but it probably won't be much of an angle. Like this. So like that would, it looks weird because the whole gingerbread is sideways right now. And then for me, I would do a new lettering design in Carly, and I could move it something like this. So just play with it until it looks like what you want. And you may want to do this before you start turning your gingerbread man. You may want to do it when it's straight up and down so you have a good visual of what it's going to look like. But say I wanted to do this. Okay, the only thing is that this needs to be the last step. You don't want to stitch the names after that step. So I would take this and drag it and move it after this step. So now it's going to be all my white, that little brown step, Chris's name, my name. I could do them in the same color if I want, or I could do them in different colors. And then the final step to attach the back. Okay. So does that sound good to everyone? Let's see. I'm thinking, I guess I'll do the names in red. I think that will be cute. And because this color is the same color, essentially, I'm going to move this step. So I'll do white, then I'll do the names in red, then I'll switch to my brown threads, stitch that part, then take the hoop off, put my back felt on, and then stitch that part. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to save this to my stick by doing save as stitch file, select my USB, and then I have a folder here, Christmas tree light covers, and gingerbread people, and save. All right, I was trying to look at the chat while I was doing that. So any questions about embrilliance? Let's see. Lisa says, can you do this without embrilliance? I know that we can combine designs on your machine. You could add lettering on your machine. There is a way, I think, to color sort on your machine, but to be honest, I never play with those features because I do it all on embrilliance. But I'm sure if you are comfortable with the interface of your machine, there's definitely a way where you can add a name. Now, as far as moving the steps around, that might be a little more complicated, but all you need to do is, like, say you were just doing one gingerbread and a 4x4 hoop on your machine and you want to add a name to it. Use your machine's built-in fonts to add the name. And when you get to actually stitching it, the name is going to be probably last. All you need to do is skip the last step to, move ahead till you get to your name, stitch it, and then back up and go back to this step so that it is actually your last step. So that's another option for you too. Okay, I think that was everything. So now I need to eject my USB stick. Come on, computer. Yeah, Loretta said that these would be super cute to sell at a Christmas like craft fair. Yes, definitely. Oop. All right. And oh, I need to actually prepare my hoop, don't I? Okay, let's embroidery. Give it a second. And then there's my gingerbread people. And it's going to put it on there. Okay, so let me quickly use my 5x7 hoop to, I'm going to do the same color felt that I did for the gingerbread house. I have 2 pieces of this. And one thing, check, lots of these have like stickers on them, and I wasn't paying attention. And when I was doing, I think this one, the sticker was like sewn in. It's still there a little bit on the back. I had to rip it out. So yeah, take your stickers off your felt. And okay, so just one piece. But yeah, this fits perfectly in a 5x7 hoop. I couldn't get like to stitch 2 gingerbread houses in one hooping, but I could get like 2 gingerbread people and 2 reindeer. I'm sure you could also do 2 Santas. The angel might be tough. I am loosening this, right? Yes. Trying to get the hoop tight. Okay. Make sure you get your hoop in there good. Press it all around. And then tighten that back up. Okay. Now we can go to the machine. And the first step is white, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to load my white thread. And I still got to set my design, embroider. Okay. So first step will be all the white detail on the gingerbread man. So let that stitch out. And let's see. Oh, Lisa's saying she doesn't have embrilliance, and it's confusing. I totally understand and get where you're coming from. There are lots of things that you can do on your machine if you're not a computer person, or just not learning new software. There's always going to be a learning curve. I do have tutorials on how to use Embrilliance though in the future if you are ever interested, and they do have a free demo version of the program that you can download and play with before you buy it to make sure it's going to be something that you use. But in the meantime, what kind of machine do you have, Lisa? Like on my Stellaire, there are lots of editing features. I'm more of a software person, so I always tend to do everything on my computer first. But there are lots of things that you can do on the machine, especially with like the Stellaire and how big of a screen it has. It's so nice. When I first started with embroidery, I had a small Brother PE 770 that had a little teeny tiny screen, and it was on a grayscale, and I really could not even see what was happening on that screen. So I had to have my computer pulled up next to my machine so I could even see my design, see what step was next, and all that good stuff. So I would say it all depends on the machine you have, but you can easily add the names. I know that's for a fact. That's super easy. The only thing is that you have to pay attention to At what step do you stitch the names? And if you have a brother or baby lock, you should have a button that looks like a needle with a plus minus. You see that button right there? That allows you to navigate through your design. So if I wanted to, if my name was the last step, can y'all see where I'm pointing? So like right here, these are my 4 steps for this design. If my name was the last step and this was the step that adds the felt, I could use the needle plus minus button to navigate and skip my outline step and go to my name step, stitch it out. Then use this to navigate and go backwards and add my felt on the back of the hoop and then stitch what's supposed to be my last step, the outline. So that's a way to get around if you're adding a name on your machine. Okay, yeah, you have a really nice machine. So you have the luminaire, which is like a step up from my machine. So you have a bigger hoop and you have all the nice big screen and features and everything. What is the info to see before purchasing any embroideries? There are so many, so confused. Okay, let me show you on my website real quick. I got lots of info on embroideries. Once you get the hang of it, it's amazing. And you can do so many cool things. All right, so all right, back to my website. This is something great. Now, you may not be new to embroidery, but this is a great resource that has like everything I think people should kind of have a little bit of knowledge of when they first get started with embroidery, from how to pick the right machine for you, supplies. And then this one right here is going to be the one you're going to be interested. Learn about embroidery software. This particular post tells you about embroideries and tells you the difference between the different softwares that they offer. And the one that I always recommend all beginners to get is Essentials. There's a more advanced editing program called Enthusiast, and there's a digitizing program called Stitch Artist. They also have some other programs I didn't even mention right here. These are like the 4 basic ones I like everybody to kind of have an idea of what they do. This one is not a software per se, but do you see, like when you look at I'm in my files and folders and I could see little previews of my designs? That is what Thumbnailer does. This is something you just download and install on your computer, and it's just kind of always running in the background, and it recognizes embroidery files. Normally your computer has no idea what to do with embroidery files and doesn't even know what program to try to open it with. Once you have Essentials, you can tell your computer, hey, every time you see any of these files, open those with Essentials, and then and with Thumbnailer, you'll see the little cute preview so you could see what you're clicking on before you click it. So this is a great place to start. I think I also mentioned somewhere in here on the Embroidery website. So like say we just go to Essentials. Let's see if this works. If you go here to downloads, right here, looking for the demonstration version. This is the free version that you can download to your computer just to play with the program and see how to mess with it and open designs in it and play with the font, all the things. The only caveat is you cannot save anything and actually send it to your machine to stitch out. So you could have it on your computer for as long as you want. There's no time limit. And it allows you to actually play with all of their programs, not just Essentials, but all the digitizing, Enthusiast, everything. But you can't actually save anything. So that's the main caveat to it. And then for those of y'all that maybe have Essentials already and are really confused and don't know how to use it, I do have a whole course, online course, like 50 video lessons, step-by-step, teaching you how to use the software. And it's called Embroidery Essentials. Um, and it's self-paced, so you go as fast or as slow as you want to. And it's really organized in ways I think, and my students have told me made sense on how to move through the program and learn things. And you have lifetime access, so you can go back and refer to it whenever you want to. So that can also be found on my website if you're interested. Okay. Um, all right, so we're done with all the white. Now I'm gonna stitch me and Chris's names in red. This will be cute for us to put on our little table downstairs with the house and then the two of us. And then I can make one for Abigail and Elise too. Okay, and they have some jump stitches here we can trim after. All right. Oh, thank you, Karen. So Karen took my essentials class. It's very sweet. Um, oh, this is a great idea. Glue the bow after the design is finished. I love that. We can make a little bow with some ribbon. Or if you have like a little button that looks like a bow, that would be super cute. Yeah, Linda, Becky Thompson introduced Linda. So Becky Thompson's a YouTube friend of mine, and she has her channel is Power Tools with Thread, and she does a lot of embroiderance tutorials too, specifically with digitizing and how to use it with quilting designs. It's really cool the method that she does, and that is one of the great things about embroiderance is that it comes in sections, so you don't have to spend a large amount of money at the same time. Some embroidery softwares cost like $1,000 to $2,000, and it comes with everything, even the things maybe you're not so much interested in right now. You just want to edit. And also, it may be limited to where you can only install it like 1 or 2 times. With Embrilliance, the company Embrilliance, they broke down their programs into several ones, and depending on what you want to do, and you can build on it. So like I started with just essentials, and then later I added on enthusiasts, and then later I added on stitch artists. So you could break up the spending, which is helpful. And really, the thing that I always tell people is when I first started, I had a PC. And I was like, okay, this PC, this is going to be my embroidery computer. It was a laptop I had left over from school that I wasn't using anymore. And so I used it. Well, I bought a different program in the beginning, and then my computer crashed. That software only came with 2 installs. My computer crashed, so I had to reinstall it, and that was my second one. It was done. And then the computer really died. And so then I had to buy new software. And I was like, at that point, I had gotten a MacBook, and I found out about Embrilliance. And they are one of the few programs that are run native on a Mac. So that was sold. And then I saw that I can install it as many times as I need to. I've gone through 3. I'm on my 3rd computer. And I've installed it on my husband's computer, so I had it on his when I was doing something downstairs once. Like, it's just so nice that I don't have to worry about paying more money for software just because I got to reinstall it again. Okay, so we're done with the white detail, the names, and we just did the legs. So now it's time to add the felt on the back. Oops, come on, computer. Okay, there we go. There's the front. Now turn it on the back. take my other piece of felt. I probably don't need. This one you can really kind of see where it needs to go. Let's do there. And I'll wait to trim it until I'm all done. Okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna wait and trim it when it's done, so I don't know where to cut it right now. And I could probably get more use out of it. I do that. So, okay, so the felt is on the back. Oh, this was a case where I could have actually used my pressing pad. And now my hoops, I can put pressure now because it has a good firm, solid surface underneath it. Put that there. Okay, now let's go back to the machine and we'll do the final. I need to cut this because it's going to be in the way. Let's do it. There we go. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to stitch the last step. And because these are combined, so it's going to stitch this one and this one, I'm going to show you. I will do my little trick with the preventing the knot on the back on Chris's, but it may form a knot on mine. We'll see if it jumps. I'm going to pull the bobbin thread up. Okay. So now it's going to stitch the two outlines and then we'll be done and we can trim. Okay. So Diane said she's still a little confused on how I got the machine to stitch both at the same time. So that was done in the software. So when I had Embroidery open and I had my two gingerbread people, and it was two separate designs. So it was going to where I was going to stitch everything out in the boy first and then stitch everything out in the girl. Then the next option to put it all together is to sort it, and it's called color sorting. And what happens is look at the steps of the boy and look at the steps of the girl and make sure, according to the software, they are the same color threads. Like it's the machine, the software is saying, okay, this step is in white, this step was in reddish brown, this step was in blue. It says it on there. So once I saw like the boy had 3 different steps and the white and the girl had only 2 different steps, but they both had the same white and they both had the same brown. And then I did the names and they were both the same. I was able just to hit the color sort button and then it organized the design for me so that it stitched all the white out at one time. All right, so this is done. So there's our little people. These are cute. All right. And we could see on the back. Aha. Okay. So when Chris started here, there's no knot, nothing, no nest or anything happening there. But this is where mine started, and you see that kind of nest. Again, not a big deal, but that is what pulling the bobbin thread up to the front prevents that from happening. Okay, I need to get this tape off. Right, and now you can use your scissors. And first, what I'll do is just separate these two, and maybe even do this so that if I am doing any, this is when it's like hard because it's like I might be doing some little applique steps with leaves or something in the future. And even though this felt is all like weird in shape, it would be big enough to get some leaves out of it. So then I'm going to save it, just like with fabric. So I got a bunch of little random pieces of felt on my craft table currently. All right, so now we can cut them out better and then cut these jump stitches. So I'm gonna go kind of straight across here. And then, yeah, so the only difference between the boy and the girl is the girl looks like she's got a dress and the boy has legs. But I think I will be adding some little bow detail. That would be cute. And just use some glue. Okay, so there's my girl. And for the boy, again, I'm gonna go straight across the bottom and then go around his body. Okay, so they are done. I'm gonna get these jump stitches out real quick. A little tricky with the felt because I think sometimes my scissor goes in the felt and not just getting the thread, so be careful. Okay, now there they are. And they got the little names on the side, so that's how you can personalize them if you want to. And pull my fingers out. Just kind of gotta open it up. It fits nice and snug. So there you could see him. In here. So cute. So there's my little gingerbread people. And I could put them with my gingerbread house on my little table. And then you can make, all the little figurines. So, but isn't that adorable? I love it. Super cute. All right, guys. I think that's everything I wanted to cover today. So we went through the first simple, like straightforward method of the angel. And what we did here can be applied to all of them with the exception of the Santa and the penguin. We went over how to do the Santa and the penguin, which just has that cutout step so that the light can shine through on the white. And then we went over how to use Embroidery Essentials to add more than one to a hoop and then color sort it so that you could stitch out multiples in one hooping. So I hope that this helped you today. Learn something new. And don't forget, Reen has a coupon code for us, KBSS. That is going to get you $9 off of this design set on her website. The link for the design set is down below this video, along with a link to the Sip and Stitch homepage, which has all the info from this project, and my website as well has all the things we talked about today on the differences between the Embrilliance programs and the homepage and my courses. You can see all of that on there. The thread tool I'm going to go add to the Sip and Stitch homepage right after I end the live. So I'll put that there for you, okay? What font did I use? So the font that I did today with Chris and Carly was not one that came with Embrilliance. That was one I purchased. And I want to say I got it from Designs by Juju. No. Creative Applique. Faith, Hope, Love. That was the name of the font I did for our names on the gingerbread houses, people. Okay. Oh, yes. And Joanna, thank you. If you are interested in taking more classes with me, but having a little bit more interaction, you can look into joining my VIP membership group. All the info, there's a link down below and on my website, carlybell.com, where we have Zoom classes every month and a design for you every month. And that price is going up starting Saturday, November 22nd. So if you want to get in there before the price goes up. And the thread tool is on sale on Amazon. Yeah, so next week is Thanksgiving. So of course, we're all going to be off and hopefully spending time with family and stuff. But I am going to shop online mostly for Black Friday. And I try to put a post together every year showing all the deals for us crafters. So not just Amazon, but like tons of places that I buy embroidery designs from, like all the little cute digitizing shops like Reen at Embroidery Garden. They all usually have some sort of good Black Friday sale. So I'll be compiling a list of all of the sales that I can find online for y'all. So stay tuned for that. If you're on my email list, you should get an email whenever that post is ready, or if not, just go check my website Friday morning and see if the post is there. It should be. Hopefully it won't take me too long. But I usually I'm up at the crack of dawn, looking what's on sale. And then I add way too many things to my own cart and it becomes a problem, but it's fine. All right. Yes. And Embrilliance usually has sales throughout holidays. They usually revolve around major holidays. So the best way to find out when Embrilliance has a sale is to be on their email newsletter list. Get emails from them. Sign up for that. They will email you every time they have a coupon code. So make sure you do that. And then whenever I see one, I try to post it in my Facebook group and tell everyone. All right. Thank you, Lori. All right. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. These are so fun and cute to make. So if you are making them and you're a member of my Facebook group, please post pictures. I love seeing what all of y'all do and y'all like rendition of it because I know some people are going to do some fun changes to things or use different materials or something like that. So please post pictures. Come join us in the Facebook group. It's free for anyone to join, and it's just a really great community of crafters where you can ask questions and then like post pictures of things you make. But that is all for today. Our next sip and stitch. So let me tell you what's going on in December. We started a new sew along for the Kimberbell Candy Cane Lane bench pillow. We started that this week. If you missed it and want to join in, I have a homepage for it on my website, and the video recordings of the first couple classes are on there as well that you can check out. But we made this block so far. I still got to trim it, but it's a cute little street lamp. Look at the fringe on the lamp. Isn't that adorable? It's so stinking cute. So that sew along is going to continue in December. We'll be back the Monday after Thanksgiving, and that will be every Monday, Wednesday, Friday until we finish the bench pillow. If you are one of my From Start to Stitch students, that's my online course teaching you how to use an embroidery machine, we have a live Q&A the first Wednesday of every month. So that will be Wednesday, December 3rd. We'll be doing that. And then our December sip and stitch is going to be Friday, December 19th. So I have to figure out times for that though, because I might have to move the sew along day a day up maybe. But Friday, December 19th is when we'll have our next our next sip and stitch. And that is going to be a fun, very beginner friendly project of how to make a cute dish towel to give as a gift for Christmas. So this is like a great first project for our friends that just got an embroidery machine and just want to try something on it. And then if you are in my VIP membership group, Tuesday, December 30th, after Christmas, we will have our live Zoom class, and it's going to be a digitizing class, learning how to use Stitch Artist, and it's going to be fun. We're going to do some cool things, and I'm going to send out a survey kind of form to all my VIP members asking what they have questions about specifically, and if they want to send me a picture of anything that they want to learn how to digitize. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you for all the well wishes for Elisa's surgery tomorrow. I really appreciate it, and so does she. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, and I look forward to talking with y'all next month and y'all telling me all the good things y'all found for Black Friday too. All right, that's it for today. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.